Okay, so today I'm going to tell you about how I balance my training with working a full-time job. So just for some context, since I've had a full-time job, I've been able to run ultra marathons, I've done an Ironman, and previously when I worked part-time, I was a bit of a slob and I would go to the gym a couple of times a week. But I've sort of incorporated some new rules, some new disciplines, and to be honest, a lot of this came from doing 75 hard. It helped really build the habits and really made it a lot easier. So, anyways, without further ado, let me get into them. Balancing training with work is not easy. Okay, it takes a lot of discipline, takes a lot of commitment as well. So, it's not on the list, but definitely make sure you're aiming for something. Make sure you have a bigger goal because otherwise, on those days where you're not feeling it, that's what's going to get you there. Because you might just quit, and we don't want that. So make sure you've got a bigger, higher something that you're aiming for that's keeping you going when times are tough. The first thing I'd recommend is getting ahead on Sundays, whether that's your meal prep or just planning the sessions you're going to do in the week. Make sure that you know and you've seen your schedule, you've seen what you've got planned, and you've worked around it. So a big thing that I do every Sunday is I meal prep. So that means that I don't need to worry about making food for lunches, sometimes dinners as well. I'll have about 3 portions worth or 2 portions worth, whatever. Just help yourself out. Really, because cooking, necessary as it is, it can be quite time consuming if you aren't fully on top of it and decision making and whatnot. So I always do a big food shop. I do the meal prep, and I know the sessions I've got in the week. I can sort of plan. So say I've got a leg day on a Wednesday, I can plan a rest day on Thursday, and then like an easy run on the Friday, for example. So yeah, you know what's coming ahead. You know how to prepare for it. You know how to mentally get in the right zone for it. Number two, don't chase a PB every session. So the problem is we want to progress as quickly as possible, and often the way that you think that's done is you've got to be better than you were the session before. But that's not the case because there's something called the Pareto principle, where basically the whole idea is that 20% of the population owns 80% of the land. And it's applied to many different principles where it basically states that 20% of something will make up 80%. So when that comes to training, 20% of our work will be hard. It will be speed work, power work, strength work, for example, and that will make up the majority of our gains. And then 80% is just maintaining. So your slower runs, your hypertrophy in the gym, for example. So we're not trying to do a PB every session. We plan the intervals, the speed work, we plan the strength sessions. So this way the structure has everything that we need in order to make sure that we're not pushing our body to the absolute limits every time and that we're not going to get burnt out and fail. Number three, create structure, not pressure. When you're making your plan, you'll roughly know what you want in there. You'll know what sessions you'll want in there. You'll know what you're trying to achieve this week. But the whole point of the plan is to have something you can follow to get you to your goal. It's not to be daunting. It's not to scare you off. So the whole thing is just to create structure. Know what you're doing. Monday morning, what are you doing? You're going for a run. Just structure. It's not, it could be a zone 2 run. That's it. Just make it easy for yourself. Don't overly put pressure on yourself. I just want to do 5 miles, for example. Not, I need to do 5 miles by this amount of time. Like every session, just putting pressure on yourself. Some days you're not going to feel great. That's why you need the big ultimate goal. Realize what you're working towards. Also realize that putting in this work is going to get you where you want to be. But don't put pressure on every single session, having to be maximizing everything. It's just one step at a time, integrate small things. And even 10 minutes some days is all you need. That's still a win. You've still done a session, even if you didn't feel like it. And sometimes doing the 10 minutes, you'll actually still feel like, okay, I didn't feel great at the start. Now I've done 10 minutes, I'm warmed up, I'm into it. You might surprise yourself. So just get structure, but don't put pressure on yourself, because that's when you're going to overthink, worry, procrastinate, etc. And then finally, fuel like you're training. So literally, whatever it is you're doing, you've got to think your body needs energy. Like you might be wanting to lose fat, to build muscle. So you need to make sure whatever your plan is, you're still going to have fuel to get past the session that you've got at hand. It's not going to be too much for you. It's not going to wear you down. You're not going to burn out. And ultimately, we need small changes. Okay, we need to change our daily habits right now, marginally at a time. You can't just go from one extreme to the other, because that way it's just gonna, one day you're just gonna cave in. You're not gonna have any faith in yourself. So just, take it easy. Small changes, fuel like you're training, good carbs, good whole foods, right amount of vitamins in, right amount of proteins in, and make sure that you are on top. So yeah, thanks for watching, bro. Subscribe and whatnot.